Hey y'all, welcome to another Quiet Night Discussions. We're really excited about the upcoming Gen 9 game, and so today we're going to be talking about our wish list for the upcoming games. And my first wish list for it, the first thing I want to see are, so with Legends Arceus, we know that it's going to be similar in that it's going to have an open world vibe, and the biggest thing that I thought with Legends Arceus that I wasn't particularly excited or thrilled when I played the game was the graphics and kind of all the like animations associated, like when you're flying around and seeing kind of all the textures and everything. And we talked about this in our other video with the top improvements to Legends Arceus, and that, you know, you see the low distance and it kind of looks awkward and it looks really unrendered and poorly rendered in far distances. And if we're going with the open world vibe in the new games, I think that if Game Freak could just work on that more and put more emphasis on that, because they generally do a pretty good job on the animations as far as like the Pokemon go. Now I know they don't do as good on the animations for the moves, but they did a lot better in Arceus, so I think that won't be as much of an issue. I think the issue is associated with like the environmental settings, like the cliffs and like trees and things like that.
Right, but it feels also kind of like, it almost makes it feel like the game is rushed. I don't know, I feel like the past couple of Pokemon games, there's always just little things and you're kind of just playing along, you're like, oh gosh, this game is actually really good, and then you're playing it and then a little glitch happens and you're like, oh, okay, what's going on here? Like, you would think with as big of a company as Pokemon is, that those little things shouldn't be an issue. So I agree with that would be something. So make it look like they really took their time with this new generation. So moving on, I think something I feel like we've all talked about for a really long time is completing the evolutions. You have the 3 from the very beginning, then, you know, they added Umbreon, Espeon, Leafeon, Glaceon stuff, but, you know, we're still missing our Dragon-type Eevee or our Rock-type Eevee and stuff like that, and I think maybe just having different spots in the region, kind of like in Legends Arceus, you know, with all the legendaries where they kind of just like pop up when you're ready to do that research task and stuff. Like, have like, you know, a cave on top of a cliff in the woods, if that's in the game and stuff, where, you know, a dragon type Eevee is nesting or something like that. Like, they could so easily incorporate it, and it's something they know we've asked for a very long time, and I think that would be something that's very cool to see.
Yeah, I think that's definitely something that we would definitely want to see, but when something that people have asked for a long time, and I think it would be a really cool addition. Although I'm not sure, I feel like it's something they're kind of extending out, because I know eventually, I feel like just kind of like it's like a prolonged thing that they're going to do every single type for an evolution, but they're just kind of kicking the can down the road. Eventually they'll do, because we haven't gotten it since Sylveon, which was like 2012 or 2013.
Yeah, and I don't want it to also be one of those things where like they just give us one. Like, you know, do it in like make 2 at least, you know, or a couple. There's so many other types still that they haven't done one for.
Or watch us throw a curveball and they give us regional forms of the evolutions that already exist.
Right, and that just wouldn't make sense. But it's just like, you know, they're listening and stuff because they made Pokemon eventually follow you again, which is something that we've all wanted for a long time.
But that's our next one, is the regional forms. So I know this is something that, like, when we first saw it in Sun and Moon, it was such a unique idea that was really surprising to me, but it actually works out, I think, very well, and it makes, you know, the new designs to Pokemon we're familiar with. And it can make you love a Pokemon maybe you didn't necessarily like before and stuff, or it's just kind of, it's almost like they're improving on a Pokemon. Like, could you imagine a freaking region form of Dunsparce, you know, that's got spikes and stuff, that all of a sudden it looks really cool and stuff, has a unique typing and all that kind of stuff. I think they have hundreds of Pokemon that they could choose from to do region forms, and that's something that's really excited to do. Yeah, and I think I'll get this one out of the way. Obviously the starter evolutions have to be awesome. I mean, you see the base form, and for me, currently, the one I'm looking at is the is it Fuecoco, right?
Yeah.
And at first when I saw the design, I wasn't too thrilled about it, but when I read the description and how it just has like a very like kind of a chill vibe to it, I really I resonate with that. So I really hope that it kind of in a way has that chill vibe, but looks like when it wants to do something, it'll like really do something cool. So I hope to kind of go for the route on the third stage.
Yeah, and so for me, I have always been the water type starter. Water Pokemon are my vibe and stuff, and ironically with this gen and stuff, I recently within the past year or so I've gotten a strange weird obsession with ducks. And so it's just really funny to see that this starter, when it was announced, we had a really good laugh about it because Quaxley is the water type starter and he's a duck. We have a lot of duck Pokemon and stuff, but I think he looks more like, a classic, little white duck and stuff. And I think a big part with the starters and the evolution, what I'm really scared of, which I would hope not because they're the starters, so you would think that they would put especially more time into their evolutions and stuff, is like I don't want to see another, Ducklet and Swanna type situation with Quaxley, like he's got kind of like the captain's hat and stuff, so it makes me think maybe they're gonna play on that and maybe he's gonna be like this really buff colonel looking, big duck towards the end and stuff, and that would be really cool and stuff. And like he doesn't even have to look, sleek and stealth or, big and buff like Incineroar or something like that. He can be chunky. It doesn't matter. I just, I don't want them to fall into something that they're comfortable with other Pokemon of that same species that they're playing it off of.
So the next thing that I want to talk about is, so I think a huge thing for what my enjoyment is in Pokemon when I play it is the team building. And so for me, whenever I build a team, I always like to have kind of my team set, usually in the first few gym badges, and I kind of like to collect them along the way and have them set so that I have them for the rest of the game. So one of my hopes is that the early team building, there's a lot of cool Pokemon, both old and new. I think a lot of new ones too, because I don't usually do a team full of completely new Pokemon when I play a new game, but just good options to have in the early part of the game I think would be really cool.
Yeah, and I think this would be cool too. I hate having to wait for a specific Pokemon. Like one that really popped up into mind when I was playing Omega Ruby, Alpha Sapphire, and stuff. I really wanted a Magnemite on my team, but you gotta wait until you go to that one little specific section. You're almost halfway through the game at that point.
You have 5 generations.
Yeah, and so I feel like the rest of my team was pretty much developed, fully evolved and stuff, and then I'm gotta wait to bring on this little Magnemite who's not gonna be very strong or anything like that.
Or wasn't it like Snom too? And
yeah. You have to wait for Snom until you get to the town, the winter town, and it's just I hate waiting because I'm the type I'll do a whole team of new. If it's a new game with new Pokemon, I usually do a whole team with the new Pokemon and stuff. So just knowing that I can get that Pokemon reasonably early, so by the time, you get to the third, even the fourth gym badge and stuff, I've got my team and I'm getting them stronger and stuff, they're making their way to the top, basically. But yeah, so then moving on, I think another really cool thing would be something that they've been doing, is just really good music, man.
Yeah, I think, this is something that I think I'm not too worried about. Because,
but it's more your thing than it is mine. He'll sit at his desk, and his wind down music is Pokemon route music.
Yeah.
Or, Super Mario
that's what I'm saying,
Galaxy or whatever it is.
Well, yeah, I think in general, that's why I'm not too worried because, even in the past, I think for the most part, I think even if you can complain about like the graphics and stuff of Pokemon games, I think it's very rare that you complain about the music of Pokemon games. I think they've always been very well composed, and I think they've always had good music that really gets you into the vibe of the experience you're in the game, whether it's in a tough battle or you're in a quiet, peaceful route, or you're in a cold
walking along the shore.
or like a cold cave or anything. They've always had a good immersion, and the music just always gets you in that good vibe, and I think they've always done it well. So I'm not too worried about this one, but of course I'm very hopeful that it, you know, I would
like to see the Spanish flair if this is, you know, based in Spain and stuff. That's, you know, a lot of string sounding, you know, guitars and kind of stuff like that. Like walking through, you know, a cobblestone path in the, you know, one of the major cities and stuff.
Well, like just think about that major city they showed in the that trailer. Just imagine like walking through that as with the nice like kind of like that guitar-y.
But soft and stuff that's comfortable, but still, you know, get you going for the adventure.
Yeah, and then so the next thing I think would be really cool. So I know every generation kind of has like their secondary, like not necessarily, you know, to beat the game type of aspects, you know, usually call them as like some kind of gimmick or something like that. And usually like, you know, like the Battle Frontier or like Pokemon Camp or like the Pokepelago in Sun and Moon. So I'm curious to know what they're going to do with this one. You know, I think I'm always a fan of like some kind of like side quest things that you can do. So I think if they added like, kind of like basically with Legends Arceus, where you have the main quest and then you have all these side quests that reward you along the way, and you get a lot of extra story and everything. And to go along with this, I think if we had the side quests, and I think if you know, you just had these extra immersion and like you get all this bonus story, and maybe you get like to go to an extra area if you like, you know, you go along on this quest, and then I think it would be kind of cool just to not necessarily to beat the game, but just like side things and like, you know, little fun mini games like that and stuff.
As long as I get my Voltorb flip back again at some point, I'll play the hell out of that one.
Oh yeah.
And so then the next thing would be, which is something they've already kind of been doing and stuff, but I really enjoy it. It makes, you know, encountering Pokemon and stuff a lot more fun, but just Pokemon generally in the overworld, whether they're going to be following you again and stuff, or you're going through the grassy areas and stuff and certain Pokemon pop up, or maybe there's a specific area where a really strong Pokemon is, which we saw, you know, in Sword and Shield and stuff like that. But I think it makes it so much more exciting because it opens up more selection for you. Like maybe you want to catch, you know, a bigger Weasel like in Legends Arceus, or maybe, you know, you want to hunt a shiny. It can help you with finding a shiny. I think that was something that was done very well with Legends Arceus, which I hope that they bring over and stuff. But having just a sound to let you know, hey, we got a shiny over here and you need to check it out. You know, not entirely giving it away, but you know you're in the right spot, you know, and there's an adrenaline factor to that I think is really cool.
Yeah, and also just to tie, like, kind of a side, like, almost, like, fun little gimmick, even if they added, like, the chance for, like, trainers to have shiny Pokemon, I think would be kind of almost silly, like, in the way, like, they're basically, you know, flexing on you, like, yeah, I got a shiny Pokemon. And it's just, like, a random chance, you know, so it wouldn't be the same for
everyone. So you wouldn't know that, like, trainer number 7 on route, you know, route 12 has a shiny, and then Tailo.
And then for that really unfortunate person that sees that one person that has, like, that one trainer that's got, like, 3 shiny Pokemon on their team or something. Right. And that just means they're super unlucky or something like that would be kind of hilarious.
Mm-hmm. Or even, like, if you're specifically hunting for a shiny Pokemon and it just so coincidentally you go against a trainer who has that Pokemon.
Yeah, it would almost make it so, like, ironically, like, oh my goodness.
And it would be something that would actually, I feel like would happen in real life. You know, like if Pokemon was, like, a real life thing that existed and stuff, somebody would so be like, oh, so-and-so has been hunting a shiny Vulpix for like 4 months and hasn't gotten one stuff. I hatched it in 6 eggs or whatever like that and stuff, and here's my shiny Ninetales now and stuff. I think that would be something that's really cool and unique and would personalize your Pokemon experience while you're playing with it.
The final thing that I wanted to mention, and we had talked about this in the top improvements to Legends Arceus, where that game really focused on story. And the story, it's a good story, but if you're like me, I don't, pressing A and reading a bunch of dialogue can the first time I think it's great, but if you're going to do it again, it feels more tedious and you want to just skip all that dialogue, which is why I think if they had true cutscenes with voice acting and voice dialogue, or at least the option to toggle it, maybe if you don't want that, then you can still do the dialogue. But I think this game, if it's going to be like Legends Arceus where it's story oriented, or even in any Pokemon game that has a story component to it, I think would really benefit with having a true voice acting setting where you can actually hear, and there's true cutscenes with visuals and everything that, and I think it would just make it so much more immersive.
I think it would be cool too, but I think you have to think about it money-wise as well and stuff. Are they really going to pay people to do this? I could see it being like Link in Legends. Link has he has like a voice. He has a tone to his voice. Does he ever say anything? No, but you hear him go, huh, and all that kind of stuff. Like he's got, that's Link when you're hearing it. So I think maybe something where like maybe the main characters or characters that are part of the story have like a sound that they do, which we've seen for so many games for so long. Even you can think of the 64 and stuff, even like Donkey Kong and all that kind of stuff.
Legends Arceus has that too now.
Yeah. So I think having more unique, not necessarily a voice entirely, but them having their own sound, if that makes sense.
Yeah, well, I can see why they would be hesitant on it because, I guess because, the protagonist is supposed to be unique to you, and so if they give them specific dialogue, then it might make you feel like you're like
right,
you're not
and you have to do it for every language because everybody around the world sounds different.
But I mean, it's Pokemon. It's literally they have all the resources and money and attention that you could ask for in a game to do that. So I don't think it's something that, like, if a game is gonna do that, I think Pokemon certainly can. It's not like they're gonna go out of budget to do something like that, I think.
Right.
But I just think it would be really cool. They should at least try it.
Yeah, or have the option to have it.
But that's pretty much going to wrap everything up for our wish list for the new Gen 9 games. Let us know if, there are...
Let us know your wish list in the comments. What are some things maybe we didn't list off?
We know we didn't list off, like, Mega Evolutions or maybe, like, a new type. I know people probably still want, like, a new sound type. But I think a cool, like Cosmic type or some kind of space type would have been cool. But, let us know if there's anything else that you want to see in the upcoming games, because we're really excited to hear those things, and we're really excited about the Gen 9 games, which are going to come out later this year. So thank you very much for watching. Leave a comment, subscribe, like if you liked the video.